first heard about the car that you see behind me, we all thought that this is going to be called Carens, but Kia is extremely specific in telling us that it's Carens, which is a combination of car and Renaissance, which is great when it comes to marketing tactics. But what this product does to the segment that it is largely going to compete in is give a little more flexibility and a wider spread of options to people who want to buy into this price bracket. And the price bracket that we expect the Carens is going to compete in is about, say, 15 lakh rupees to 18 lakh rupees, or just undercutting the Hyundai Alcazar. And Kia is making no bones about this being a pretentious crossover. This is targeted as a proper people mover, and that's exactly what we are going to approach it as well. So let's get behind the wheel and also look at what features does it offer and how exactly is it going to fit the segment. Now, when the first media event happened for the Kia Carens, this was essentially a global reveal, and now that we have been driving this car in and around the NCR region for almost the entire day, I can tell you very confidently that this thing attracts a lot of attention. We have had people just stop in the tracks, look at this car and ask us all sorts of questions as well. But in terms of design execution or in terms of style, this is a very peculiar car. The front end is all flush and there is almost like an electric car sort of a front end because there is no pronounced grille in the top half. And then of course you have the air intake at the bottom. But it's a very individualistic sort of a style and it's an acquired taste. But overall, I think this will definitely find a lot of takers. Yes, some people definitely will also find it weird and kind of oblique to their liking. But in general, I think it has that quirkiness, it has that eccentricity, which is going to go very nicely in its favor. So I think, yeah, while the overall design and style execution is polarizing, it's still pretty alright. The headlamps are all LEDs and you get all LED DRLs as well as the tail lamps. So yes, in terms of illumination is the latest tech that you get. On the inside, general execution of the cabin is very good and I really like the very simplistic sort of a design of the dashboard. The screen is not a standout unit, it's very flush and integrated into the whole unit itself, and that looks very, very classy, seamless as well. But we had some very, very unique issues, and that essentially was to do with the reflection of the plastic panel towards the passenger side. It is not really done in a very nice way and it gives glares into your eyes, which can be a little bothersome. And then the brushed finish at the bottom as well, that also reflects sunlight every now and then. Now the Carens has almost everything that you would expect from a car of this sort, this segment and this price bracket. You have everything in terms of features, I've already explained that, right from Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and everything else when it comes to the connected car technologies. Plus it has its own app, or the company's own app, that you can do a lot of things with. But in addition, this car is essentially designed for comfort and practicality. And on that level as well, it kind of fits somewhere in the middle. I am also going to include the Mahindra Marazzo, which according to all of us in the office is definitely among the benchmark setting models, and the third row seating in the Marazzo is genuinely pretty decent. Over here things are not all that great, but they're somewhere in the middling levels. The front seats, the space is very nice, but I really think the seats themselves are very narrow. The seat base is something that is not really accommodating me in the most ideal way. And it's the same thing at the back as well. If you look at me seated right now on the captain's chair as well, you will see that the shoulder space is not really all that great. So yes, seat comfort is pretty much average. Cushioning is okay, but there is just not a lot of space for you to feel very comfortable in. But while the space for the front and the middle row is okay, if you want to be sat comfortably in the rearmost row, that's not going to happen. But that's exactly what the problem is of this segment generally. The Carens is a pretty loaded car, as is to be expected by Kia. It has voice command, it has cruise control, temperature control or climate control, And even in terms of safety, it has you covered properly. It has 6 airbags, vehicle stability management, ABS and ESP of course. So all the features that you kind of expect and also some that you don't are available in this car. So the safety net is very strong. Now we are stopped at a signal right now, so it's a good time to tell you the number of engines that it has and also the transmission options. So there are 3, 2 are petrol, 1 is diesel. What we are driving is a 1.4 turbo petrol engine. There is also 1.5 litre petrol and a 1.5 litre diesel. And those two produce about 115 PS or 113 bhp. The diesel produces 250 Newton meter. And what I really like about this 1.4 litre model is that, yes, while it produces 140 PS or 137, 38 odd horsepower, it produces, crucially, 242 Newton meter of torque, which is just 8 shy of the diesel model. And this being petrol is going to be slightly lighter. So that compromise of 8 Newton meter is genuinely not bad, and that is exactly what reflects in the way this thing pulls. So yes, a lot of people will definitely think twice about buying into the 1.4 turbo petrol engine, but I think it's a very decent compromise because you get great performance and also the flexibility that you generally get with diesel engines, because the torque is very strong, and both the diesel and this 1.4 petrol deliver that torque from about 1500 RPM level, but the operating range of the torque in this engine is a lot wider. So this one goes to about over 3000 RPM, but in the other one, in the diesel, it kind of gets limited at about 2700 RPM and then peaks out at about 2750, while this just keeps going north of 3200, and that's exactly where the flexibility of the 1.4 is slightly better. Yes, you may not get the kick that you generally get out of a diesel, but this turbo petrol we have driven in other forms as well, and it really performs pretty alright. And because it's not a car that you will be pushing, so the fuel efficiency is also, or should also, be pretty alright. Now in terms of transmission options, the 1.4 comes with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed DCT or a dual clutch transmission. That is also very familiar. And then in the other 1.5 litre petrol engine, that is mated with only a manual, a 6-speed. And the diesel again comes with both the options, the automatic and the manual. So there is a great amount of options that you can pick and choose which one do you want to go with. Now, how does the Carens drive? And I've already said that this is not a car that you should be driving with the intention of enjoying it. And if you are a driver that just wants to poodle about or go from point A to point B, or even just go for a very settled cruise or a long distance drive, then this should serve your purpose. If you're the one who wants to absolutely hit the apex around every corner, this is not going to be your friendliest partner. So best that you stay away from it. Having said that, it's not too bad because for the kind of car it is, it kind of rides pretty alright. Yes, the basic suspension architecture is exactly the same as the Seltos, but definitely some tuning has been done and it kind of rides a little softer. There is a little bit of compression softness that you feel every time that you go over a bump, and that's exactly what is going to be a highlight for a lot of people. Low speed ride quality again is completely okay, you can live with it, no problem at all. But I think as you gain pace, it kind of settles down a lot more and becomes a lot better. It's chiefly only on the really badly kept roads that this is going to be slightly unnerving because of the lateral movement, but otherwise it should not be too bad at all. In fact, we have just negotiated a very bad patch of road and it was all right, nothing to complain about. But the one big problem that I have with the Carens is the steering, and not the way it looks or feels in your hands, but the way it responds to your inputs. It's very vague and does not really give you the sense of connection that you really want or you expect. It feels sticky on the road. It's okay when you're going at slow speeds because off-center it's pretty alright and fairly light enough. But the moment you gain pace and if you go around some bends, it just becomes extremely strange and does not really behave in the most natural or intuitive ways. It of course kind of sticks on the road when you're going around some bends, and then you have to force correct it. It does not come back in the most natural way. and that can be a little unnerving. And even in that, it's not uniform. Sometimes it just sticks and you have to, as I said, force feed some input and get it back. And sometimes there is just this springing action on the wheel that kind of leaves you bewildered as to what exactly is happening with the steering system. And that's one very big standout issue that I have with this car. But all that aside, if we have to sum up the Carens, what will we say? Well, the Carens is that one car which kind of expands this segment a little bit. Yes, there are other 5+2 crossover / SUV kind of cars that are available, but this one is very, very blunt in saying that it's a people mover. It's almost an MPV, and it's not really ashamed of that either. And that's a very, very good thing because it exhibits stronger personality as well compared to some of the other products in the segment. So in that way, it's very decent. It's okay on space in the front and the middle. The last row is as is to be expected, and with every other car as well, it's not the most ideal place to sit. It's fairly well built, it comes loaded with features, and that quirkiness in design is something that really works in its favor, I think. Yes, it's polarizing, but at least there is a statement with that as well. So in all, it's generally not a bad product at all, and in this segment, it gives you that much more of an option if you just want to deviate from the regular norm of buying into SUVs or crossovers.